Hello and welcome to SudoKanard. This is another video in English about those hybrid Sudoku puzzles by David McNeill that were used in an online contest in March of 2020. And this one is Killer and Thermo Sudoku. That's a mix between two variants that I love, actually. So, I recap what it's all about. So you have a normal grid, almost normal grid, with 9 boxes, 9 3x3 boxes, and the usual rules of Sudoku. Then you have those small cages, which might have been greater than that in other killer Sudoku puzzles. And those are killer cages, which means that inside each cage, all digits are different. Well, in this case, that's obvious because all cages are included in some 3x3 box. But more important is that the sum of the digits is written on the top left corner. So 7 is the sum of those two digits. 15 is the sum of those two digits. And then you have thermometers. The Thermo Sudoku is about those thermometers. Well, those are skewed thermometers. And what it means is that this is the bulb, and this is where mercury comes from. And then when mercury rises, it means that numbers rise. So this digit is less than this one, which is less than this one, and so on every one of them. So now let's get solving. Well, this puzzle was rated 45 points, which corresponds to a 9-minute solve if you wish to solve the whole stuff on the given time. And it is somewhat generous, I think, although my video will probably be much longer than 9 minutes. So where do we start? Well, something very useful with Killer Sudoku is that the sum of all digits from 1 to 9 is 45. Therefore, in those cages where you have already 3 cages, you can compute the total contribution of those cages and deduce the sum of the remaining digits. In this case, 7 plus 19 plus 15 is 41. So we know that only 4 points remain to be distributed among those cages. 4 is 1 plus 3, and that's the only decomposition. And this cannot be a 1, because we would need a lower digit in this cell, and it's not possible. 1 is the lowest digit possible. So this is a 1, this is a 3. And now this is restriction for the 7, because there are only 3 possible ways of making 7 as the sum of 2 different digits. That's 1 plus 6, 3 plus 5, 2 plus 5, and 3 plus 4. And 1 and 3 are unavailable, so we know that this is 2 plus 5. Now there are 2 possibilities for those. 15 could be 7 plus 8 or 6 plus 9. But we know that 4 is in one of those cells. Let's have a look at this thermometer. This digit has to be lower than 3 and can't be 1, so it's a 2. And, well, there are a lot of possibilities for those digits and those ones as well. This 7 cage is interesting because there's only one way to have 7 as a sum of 3 different digits, and that's 1 plus 2 plus 4. So this is a 4, and those are 1 and 2, and this resolves this ambiguity. This is a 5, this is a 2. Now let's have a look at, this 17. It can only be 8 plus 9. What is the sum of those 3 cages? Let's do the same logic as in this case. So that's 17, 24, 34. So these digits add up to 11. So 11 without using an 8 or a 9. So it has to be 4 and 7 or 5 and 6. In here, this digit must have 3 bigger digits. This has a maximum of 7 because of 8 and 9. So 7, 6, 5, 4. This is a maximum of 4. So this has to be a 4 because it must be one of those digits with a maximum of 4. This is 4 and this is 7. So as to complete to a sum of 11. And now those 2 digits are more than 7, are bigger than 7. They increase, so they have to be 8 and 9 in this way. Can we deduce something about this 10? Or, well, this 7 can't use a 1 nor a 4, so this is 2 plus 5. And we now know that these are 1, 3, and 6. And this 7 can't be used for the 15. So it has to be 6 plus 9. Well, there has to be an 8 somewhere in here. But 8 can't be here because this digit should be lower than 7. And 8 can't be here because we would need 2 digits bigger than 8, and we don't have them. So 8 must be here. The other 2 digits must be 3 and 4, and at this point, I can't decide for sure. I realized that I forgot to bank on something I had noticed. When I found this 4, it was because this had a maximum of 7 and it implied a maximum of 4 in here. But this maximum is realized, so this is actually a 7. I can't put less than 7 because it has to be at least 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I can't have more because of the 8 and the 9. So these are 5, 6, and 7. And now we need a 1. 1 is not bigger than 3, so 1 is here, and the last digit is 6. I think we should be able to deduce this digit and this digit with the 45 rule. In this 3x3 block, we have 10 plus 16, that's 26. 32, 38, so this is a 7, so that all 9 digits add up to 45. Same logic in here, 11, 20, 35, 41, so this is a 4, and it resolves the 3-4 pair. That is nice progress. This 6 now can't be 4 plus 2, it's 1 plus 4. And I think there might be only one possibility for this 11. It can't use a 9, nor a 7, nor a 6, so that's 3 and 8. This 6 can't use a 4, so it's 1 plus 5. And here is a 2 to complete the row. This 10 can't use a 7, a 6, or a 1. It has to be 2 and 8. So this is a 9 and a 7 in the middle. And actually, the sum is wrong. Wow. Those add up to a staggering 27. What's wrong? Oh, no, this is not a 7. This is a 5. Oh, well, oops. No, the missing digit was a 5 and it adds up to 25. That's all right. And we can see that this 25 clue was actually not useful. Well, perhaps there was a way to deduce something with the 25 before having the other digits. Now, what comes next? We need 3, 9, and 4. 3, 9, and 4 in here. Here it's 2, 6, and 7. Well, oh, what comes in this thermometer? We need all digits except one that goes here. 9 and 8 don't go there, so they must be at the end of the thermometer because they are the biggest digits. So this is a 3 and this is an 8. We now need a 3, but it doesn't go here, so 3 will be the lowest digit and it has to go here. We now need 5, 6, and 7, so this is 5 or 6, then 6 or 7 because they have to increase, and this one can still be any one of those digits for the time being. Here that's 1, 3, and 6, 4, 7, and 8 in here. Now, what do we have? Let's say in here, we can't have a 1 in a 19 cage because the other two digits should add up to 18 and that's not possible. So 1 is not in here, 1 is here, is the smallest digit on the thermometer. And this is a 2, this is a 1, this is a 5, this is a 1. We now need 5, 6, and 7 in here. This is not a 5, this is 6 or 7. Well, oh, this 5 resolves this. This is a 6, this is a 7, and this is a 5. So here is 6 or 7. Well, 12 is not that restricted. We need a 5 around here. Not in here, 5 here or there. 6, 7, or 8 in those digits. Can this be a 6? No, because if we put a 6 in this cage, then we need 5 or 4, 4 or 3, 3 or 2, and we can't have 3 or 2 in here because both are unavailable. So this is not a 6, this is a 6. Now those two digits must add up to 12 without using a 5 or an 8, so that's 3 and 9. Which result the 6 in here and the 9 there. Now, the 5 remaining digits must be in ascending order along the thermometer, so that's 1, 4, 5, 7, and 8. And this gives a lot of information. This is an 8, this is a 4, this is a 7. Here and here, it resolves to an 8, 1, and 5. 3, 4, and 9. Well, we are not quite there. Not quite. This, we need a 1 in here. Oh, I put 3 and 9 here, because we have a 3-9 pair in this column. We now need 1, 2, and 7. This is not a 1, and it can't be a 2, because we would need 3 digits lower than 2, so this has to be a 7. Those have to be 1 and 2, and to complete to a sum of 12, we need the 9 in here, and it resolves the 3, 9 all around. So now there's a 9 in here and a 4 there. Let's complete third column with an 8. Now this 8-9 pair is resolved. And those are in ascending order. So this is 3, 4, and 6. We are nearing the end. 1, 3, and 6. 1 and 6, this is a 3. 1 and 6 in here. 2, 6, and 7. With this, it is 3 or 2 or 7, 2 or 6. 1, 2, 6, and 9. So this is a 9. 1, 2, and 6. This can't be a 1 nor a 2. We would have to put 3 digits between 1 and 2. This couldn't work. So that's a 6, that's a 1, that's a 6, that's a 2, that's a 1. And this is a 2, this is a 7, this is a 6, this is a 7. Well, it had to be a 7 with this 6. Let's complete to 19, that's a 3. And ascending order commands 2, 4, and 5. This is a 2, this is a 5, and this wraps up the solve of this very nice killer and Thermo Sudoku by David McNeill. Well, I hope you like this solve. I hope you still don't mind my very French accent. And I say, see you very soon on SudoKanard.